What's going on, car guys and car gals? It's Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And this is Frelin Arts, subprime hero.
And we are brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee podcast. And we are excited about the guest that we have on here today. After a whole lot of moving and grooving, shaking around the country, we've had so much fun with so many incredible people. And right now we want to have some fun with you and the rest of the industry too. So help us out, everybody. And tag a car guy.
Tag a car gal.
And share.
Share. Get it out there. Let's let people know you care, because we have someone special in here today. Like Lou said, we've been across the country over the last few months, and we've been able to meet some amazing solutionaries. And this one right here, when I got to the conversation, learning more about the past, I was like, stop. I don't want to know anymore, because I need to get you on the show so I can hear and share this with my network, because the story is amazing. I love the growth. This person really commands the room, really does, right? When you have a conversation, you just sense like the confidence, you sense the growth, the opportunity there. So I can't wait to hear more about the past, how she got to where she's at today, but where she's going to be going. And we should all be excited, because people like this in the industry, finding people like this industry, knowing people like this industry, pulling inspiration from people like this industry is the way that we need to do this. And I'm excited because the future is bright in automotive. So let's go, Lou.
It's very bright, and it's exciting because it's one thing when we get the chance to hear about someone from afar and we get to talk about what it is that they do, or maybe read a little bit about what they do. But it's another thing to see them a little bit in their element, to see them with a bit of their work family, and to just be able to chop it up with the rest of the industry and then actually have them on the show. For those of you that have been watching the show for almost 4 years now, we honor you. We appreciate you. But so much of this has been on the virtual tip, just like right now. Fred and I were in 2 different places, and our incredible guest is not here with us, but she was able to sit there and watch us brew inside of their booth over at this last digital dealer. And man, did we get a whole lot of content for the rest of you all to consume. So be aware that that series is going to be dropping soon, of everything that we brewed over at the Pure Cars booth. But one of the big things that happened is we scheduled this 5-liner for today. So you are in for a treat, everybody. We got that good brew for you. So let's get ready to do this. No more Fred and Lou ado. Let's get this guest up in here, everybody.
Ready?
Let's have some fun with the one,
the only Melissa Seichter. Let's go, baby.
There she is.
Good morning.
Hello. Welcome to the party. We're so excited to have you here, Melissa. Thank you for taking the invitation and saying yes to this, because I know this is your very first podcast. So thank you. We really appreciate that.
It is my first podcast. I'm excited to be here. I need whatever level of coffee y'all have, because I don't think mine's quite there.
It's a special brew that we have. It's Car Guy Coffee. It's the dark roast. Lou's probably drinking the medium roast right now. Folks, you can get it at carguycoffee.com right now in the coffee shop link. Just get in there. It's some great coffee. And Melissa, we'll make sure you get some for Christmas. We'll make sure of that. Let's go.
Let's go, everybody.
Love it.
We are pumped up, and we're excited that you all are joining us today. We're excited that you tagged some of your friends and that you shared this around a little bit, but continue to move this. Whether you're watching this on the replay or you're watching this right now live, make sure that you do drop in some questions, throw a little bit of love, highlight somebody that needs to be watching this, because right now what we're doing is just brewing, everybody, finding out more and more about the incredible people that are inside of this industry that we get to brew with. We are honored, so honored to be able to work with so many great people and to be able to highlight so many great people. And for her first ever podcast, webcast, we are excited that the first thing that she's sipping on is that Car Guy coffee, and has come committed to brew solutions. So let's get ready to rock this 5-liner. But before we do, we got to drop those F-bombs. And you know the deal, Melissa. You know the movements. You've watched it. You've seen us do it. You've seen us shout at it. You've seen people unify with us too. Do this. So come on, and let's go ahead and spark this 5-liner off right with a little forgive, focus, fly. Hands on the shoulders. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Forgive.
Focus.
Fly.
And keep growing. Keep Growing. Let's go.
You're ready to brew.
That's right. You know, and I'm ready to brew. We're brewing solutions, and folks, and all you got to do is get you some, right? I love that. Anyway, let's have some fun. Let's brew. We got somebody special in here. We have Melissa. And Melissa, we thank you so much once again for giving us some time of your day to be able to do this. I know it's a Friday, and Friday, I know you're trying to finish up the week. You're trying to clean up. You're going to give us some time this way that we can share you to our network. And I appreciate that, because I know you're not a person who's like wants to go out there and try to show off or anything like that, but I'm so glad you're a humble person the way that you are. But I'm also blessed to have you on the show, because I honestly believe there's going to be somebody out there that's going to hear your story and be inspired, right? There's going to be somebody out there that realizes that our industry is so much better than what they have perception of, right? Because of people like you. So I'm so excited.
I love this industry, and I'm quite literally born and raised into it. And it really sucks you in, because you get so many different kinds of people, and you can do so many different things. And there's so many different facets and aspects to everything automotive that people just don't realize. It's fun. It's fun.
I agree with that so much. And she's so right, folks. Listen, this is in her DNA. But beyond that, you know, a lot of people, and just being honest, we know a lot of people who have it in their DNA, but they don't realize and have gratitude for what they see in front of them. Yet you do. To the point where you've been able to reach out. And I know a lot about her story already. I don't want to say it all right now, but really, folks, when you guys hear and we dig in a little bit more, you're going to see like, wow, the uncomfortableness that she's put herself through to be able to get to where she's at today. And she's just beginning. So, and she's a mother. She does all these things that, like, a lot of people, us men, we should have no excuses when we hear a story like hers, because she's phenomenal. So let's go. I'm ready. I got the first question ready to toss up at you.
Oh, let's go. All right. What you got?
Right. You know, and this is a great one, because it all starts there with this question. Everything does. It's your why, right? You know, what gets you motivated? What is the reason why you do what you do? Why do you take chances in life? Why do you go harder? Why do you work hard every day? Why do you try to do things that are special? Like, what is your why?
My why is all because of my family. So my dad came from absolutely nothing. He started as a used car salesman, and he worked his butt off. I like to say the man worked 8 days a week until my brothers and I were almost through college. He's finally slowing down a little bit, and he instilled that in both my brothers and I. So one of my brothers started in the wash rack at the dealership, worked his way up. He's the GM of our group back in Louisiana. He's absolutely amazing. He's so knowledgeable about everything. He's so good with his people. Which is super funny, because him and I always butted heads for a while, but we've, you know, grown to respect each other so much in what we do. My younger brother went into the Marine Corps. So he was an officer in the Marine Corps. He was going to be deployed, but his platoon or whatever ended up not going. So after his contract was up, after about 10 years, he came back full-time working for my dad, and he really found his niche in fixed ops. So whenever I came in, I'm the middle child. So I came in after college. So I was in before my younger brother, but after my older. I came in the internet marketing department, helped build, you know, the social media presence, the marketing strategies. And I had such good people around me to really teach me and guide me in all things automotive digital, because digital marketing was not a major that was offered when I was in college.
Right.
So it was all learning on the fly. But I'd been around the dealership for so long, and I was able to understand how all the different departments work together, and, you know, how to connect with the people in the community, and, you know, bring the messaging from the store and the, you know, relationships that they built inside, outside. So that was super fun. And it was always changing and always keeping you on your toes. And so watching my dad and my uncle, you know, really build the group and expand, and, you know, always what's next, that was always something that was in not just myself, but my brothers. So we're always, you know, what can we do next? How can we make our mark? What's really going to be our story, our thing? And, you know, working for my dad for a couple years, it was a little different if you're the son working for the dealer or the daughter working for the dealer. And I was really focused on, how can I make my mark? How am I going to differentiate myself from just being the dealer's daughter? And I actually got recruited from the dealership by the FCA manufacturer, which brought me out of Louisiana to Chicago. And I've been here for 10 years, or right at 10 years, which is insane. So having to, but it's where I met my husband. I met my husband probably 3 weeks after moving here, which
Amazing.
of course is how that works. I was like, no, I'm just going to work. I'm going to travel. I'm going to, do my thing. I'm going to make my mark. And then I meet him. And I'm like, oh, this works too. But I was with the FCA manufacturer for 3 years, and I learned so much more about the
Okay.
OEM side and how the dealerships and the OEMs, need each other and how that relationship works so much more. And then I was recruited from there to the vendor side, and I was recruited from there to Shift Digital for consulting. And then I was recruited by Aaron from Shift to come join the AutoMiner team when he was building this up, because he and I's paths had crossed in many different areas. So, in all of these things, the next job and the next opportunity and the next promotion and the next, growth moment is, well, I want to call my dad because he's going to be so proud of this.
Yeah,
Like, he's watching his kids make their own mark in their own place,
that's
which
right.
it feels good.
Heck yeah, it does. It's
Yeah,
legacy.
It's great.
It's
Yeah.
all about legacy, and much like you're showing your children, and then one day when they have the opportunity, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to be like, "Hey, mom, what do you think?" And you're going to be, "I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you." And that's something that I think we all are feeling. Like Lou and I, we both have children that are now out of the house, pretty much, right?
Ooh, look at the Go Tigers. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right, Bruce. I tagged him, right? Let's go, right? So Bruce is a dealer down in the actual New Orleans, and when I go visit down there, that's who I'm seeing, right?
Miller
And
Motors in the house.
it's my man right there. It's my brother. I love him to death, and we have some big plans together over the future. So looking forward to doing things with him. But big LSU fan, big anything New Orleans fan, anything Louisiana. He's all about it. He is the definition of New Orleans. I love him. Great guy, great person, just
Awesome.
huge personality.
And an overall great car guy.
Yeah, but dude, monster car guy. So you got, you love people like that, and he's doing the same thing now with his sons and his daughter, his daughter's his youngest, but he has two boys that are now working at his dealership, right? They're coming up, doing their things. One's in sales. The other one is helping him with inventory management and working his way up. He's a college grad himself, had a perfect ACT score. Perfect ACT score. Come on. I want him to work for me too, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of thing you think about, right? It's amazing, but that's legacy, just like you. You all, and I guarantee Bruce, his son, who had a perfect ACT score, was still looking at his dad like, "Are you proud of me?" And he was like, "Yeah, I am." And that's something that we're always going to look for, no matter where we achieve. We want that. That's legacy, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I'm glad that you push yourself like that. I'm glad you got to where you're at. I mean, being where you're at right now is just like, I'm telling you, it's the tip of the iceberg. It's barely even everything that we see, right? Everything that you've done throughout the years. We know that DNA brought you into automotive, but what I got to ask, so I'm going to switch. We should switch up the second question. I know Lou's going to ask it. Go ahead, Lou. Be more like,
You already answered. I mean, it was almost like that was kind of that red eye right there. You gave us a little tip. You put that extra shot in it, right? And so we found out how you got into automotive. So let's ask you this real quick, because you get the chance to see it as a legacy entry into this incredible industry. What is it that you are enjoying most about what it is that you're doing right now with Pure Cars for automotive?
Oh, I like puzzles. So I like riddles. I like finding that solution. So whenever I'm able to talk to dealers, to manufacturers, and make not just a personal connection, but really talk about their needs and their goals, and finding how Pure Cars, how AutoMiner, how a digital strategy, how another piece of the puzzle can help solve that, and being able to help action a solution and see results.
that's right.
And it's good. It feels good, like you're being appreciated, you're useful. I enjoy that piece. So whenever I'm having conversations with not just our sales guys or our OEMs, and we talk about their needs, their wants, and we're like, you know what, we can do these things to solve your problems, or this is a recommendation that we can make that we've seen success with in the past, and it helps, it works, it gets that dealer to the next level, it fills that need for the OEM. It feels good. I like being useful. Acts of service is one of those things that I like. So it's how I show love, it's how I show care, and I really care about what I do, and I like being able to help make those solutions.
Love it. That's
I love
awesome. And you can tell that you care just by the way that it is that you interact with the people around you. Again, we don't get the chance to see everybody that we get to interview live with their work family. And we had the chance to see you shaking it up, meeting people, keeping everything going. With that though, there is so much that is brewing right now with Pure Cars. We're excited about the time that you're inside of seeing them make things happen, shake things up with Auto Miner. But right now, we're seeing some cool new challenges that are coming to the market. We absolutely love the relationship that we do have with you and your team to be able to let them know what's happening on the ground, what's happening inside of the dealership, what's happening inside of the offices of the leadership inside of many stores throughout the nation, and used cars, new cars, all of the things that we talk about. We love that you guys want to really know what's happening. And
right.
you are a natural. I mean, right now you're like, you get it honestly. You're a student of this game. You're a student of this business and growing in it. Speaking of students of this business, we got Scuba Steve up on here. What's good, fam? How you doing? Good to see you making things happen here inside of our county. So excited to see you here, Stephen. Thank you for joining us today. Sell some rides. Happy Friday, everybody. But Melissa, there is something that is special that you guys are cultivating inside of your family, and this would just be a little sidebar. What is it that I mean, I can't quite put the words to it, and that's kind of rare to say. But with that, there is something that you guys have that the only word I can come up with is special that you all have as a work family. Describe that a little bit about what's different about working with this team of people than anybody you've worked with before.
Honestly, there is not a single person on the Auto Miner Pure Cars family that I've met and not almost immediately mesh with. It is such a good group of people. They're smart, they collaborate, they, if we're working on group projects, everybody's doing their part, everybody's taking initiative, everybody's like, oh, I got this, let me do the next thing. That's not always the case. And we love Aaron Sheeks, our CEO, so much because his main thing, his top priority is always people. He wants good people, he wants leaders, and he knows, and he's instilled this in all of us: lead your team no matter what it is. And that's what everybody does. Everybody takes the ball and they always run. And whenever they come to a hurdle, they always ask for help, or they know where to go to get answers. And that's not something that everybody knows how to do. Not everybody knows how to ask for help. Not everybody knows how to use the resources around them. And Aaron has built such a good team of those people. I cannot wait to go to the next conference and see all these people in person again, because it's fun, it's engaging, it's exciting. I was on a call yesterday with a team that I meet with on a weekly basis, and it had been a couple weeks since I had either been able to be on the call or that we had actually had a chance to talk, just because it's like you said, it's a busy season. Everybody's gearing up for end of the year. Everybody's trying to, talk about new strategies, and dealers right now are trying to not spend as much money because it's what they do. So we hadn't had a chance to talk. So I get on the call and I immediately get a message on the side, and it was my teammate saying, I haven't seen you. I miss you. How are you? And we work together. We're a Slack away, and it's such a good community of people that it makes you excited to be on projects and work with them and want to do more. So it's good. It's good.
It's beautiful. Lou and I have been blessed to be able to be part of some of the meetings, and when we're there, hundreds of people show up, and it's pretty impactful, and everyone gets, and there's a majority, they get involved, they'll type in comments, they'll do all that stuff. I love it. It's fun. I have a good time being there. I love being able to speak and just share our story, but also hearing the stories from you all. It's massive, and it's such a great culture, and I love it. It does, they say a fish rots from the head down, right? And right now, I think you guys are very fresh in the head. You guys are all really being creative, like you said, using each other as resources to be able to get better. There is no really weakness if you have a strength somewhere else inside the team. If you don't have it, you have it there. So you're part of something that's combined, right? It's all tied together. So when you can find, like, hey, no matter what struggle I have a solution. like you said, and I love that you said, I'm just a slack away, right? And that's what's so cool about today's tools. Like, you know, it's unique because we can work apart yet still be together, right? Very quick and very
Yeah.
simply. And I remember years ago, I'm old enough to know what cell phones were like when you waited till 9 o'clock to get the free calls, right? Because hours, you had to pay for
Oh
hours.
yeah.
You remember those times?
I learned the hard way that the free hours, the 9 o'clock didn't matter when you were roaming.
Yes. Then you got that huge bill. You're like, oh my God.
I had to answer to my dad on that one once or twice. He's like, what is this? I'm like, I thought it was free.
I had no idea, right? I agree. So, you know, it's so being able to communicate so quick and instant now, and really almost just the cost of what we pay, everybody pays their cell phone costs, right? And it doesn't go up or down. It's just, it is what it is. And you can communicate that way. And you don't even really, you could even just use it on a computer that's connected to Wi-Fi. So you can communicate to people's phones that way. It's just such a unique world. So the excuse of not knowing something is just not asking to get the answer from somebody. And if you're able to do that, have a open dialogue amongst people inside a community that's inside, you know, the Auto Miner and Pure Cars community right now, the way you guys are doing it together and with your dealers, it's massive, folks. I mean, it's a huge shout out. But, you know, you're right up there. You're doing big things. You're guiding the way for that too. You know, there's a reason why you sit in the seat you sit in, you know, so congratulations to that.
Thank you.
You know, you talked about Aaron, you talked about your father. I know those have been some pretty big impacts in your life. Mentors are huge for us, you know, and that's the next question I have for you. Who have been, you know, you can mention them again if you want, but I know there's been some big mentors or people along the way that have helped you take that next step or gave you the encouragement to stay uncomfortable. Who were those people?
I'm going to get emotional.
Oh.
My dad is definitely one of them.
Amen.
Seeing him always push. It's always been like, okay, I gotta keep up. My girlfriends, two of my best friends are just straight girl bosses. They really are. It's so impressive what they've done in their careers with their families, how they are just a driving force in their own companies. I'm like, all right, who do I need to see? I told you I get emotional.
Oh, it's okay.
I love them.
It's all right. I'm like Oprah. I pull it out of people.
You do. You know what? Your wife made me cry in Vegas.
Did she really? Oh,
she
wow.
did. I got talking about my little brother and my soon-to-be niece, and I got excited.
She told me about that. I didn't know you cried about
yeah.
it. She told me she told me all about that stuff. That's awesome stuff. I'm glad. My wife has a way of pulling that out of people. So
I can't imagine how you two are soulmates. But my other mentors, it's Taryn, who still works for my dad. Learned a lot from her. My friends that run Click Here Digital, they taught me almost everything I know about digital marketing.
Awesome.
They're going to see this and laugh at me, and I'm going to get a meme and a text message from both of them.
Cry tears.
BJ Kaysen is going to make so much fun of me. It's going to be great. But they've taught me so much, and it's really seeing all of the people that have given me like little bits of knowledge and little things that I can take along the way. Whether it's my family, my coworkers, you know, people like you two who bring so much energy and so much excitement to the industry and their clients and teams. It's like you kind of take those things as you go. It's like, you know what, my girlfriend Barbara has just insane ambition, and she's so smart and she's straight to the point. I like that. I want to take that piece with me. My girlfriend Kayla is just so kind, and she's just one of the best people I've ever met in my life. I like that. My mother is essentially a Disney princess. Anybody that has ever met this woman, the first thing they ever say is, your mother is just the best person. I'm like, that's what I want to. So I take all of those little things.
Yeah.
And I want to bring them into my work, into my family, into my life.
Wow. I love that answer. You know, I think that's probably one of my favorite ones ever. I mean, I have to say we've asked that question to a lot of people, and, you know, they've been some great answers and some really great notes, people's families, but exactly what you just said there, folks. If you guys heard what she just said, I mean, she takes a little bit of everybody, you know, and that's who we all are. At the end of the day, find the good in people. And, you know, it's not to be like them, but it's to honor them. Right. It's like, you know, I love that about you. And honestly, I honor that about you. And you know, that's something that I want to work on. Oh my God, that's a blessing to see that in my life. And that's somebody that's possible to be that way, you know, that others are like that. So, you know what? Let's all be like that. It's beautiful. I love that. I love that you talked about your mother as a Disney princess. Right.
That's the only way I can describe it. And the funny part is, animals just show up to the house and she's just like, this is mine now.
Oh my God,
And
that's amazing.
Seriously, that's the only way to describe it. When multiple baby deer have shown up in our carport and she's like, yes, this is mine now. Okay. All right, Pocahontas.
Yeah, that has never happened to me. And
Awesome.
I gotta
It
say
happened twice. That is a true story.
special touch. Yeah, she definitely is a Disney princess. Shout out to your mom.
That's awesome. Is her name Aurora by chance?
Her
What is
name
mom's
Sandy.
name? Sandy?
Sandy.
Sandy, awesome. Well, Sandy, we honor you. We appreciate you, and we appreciate the gift that you made to automotive. And inside of that, Disney princesses even run into their challenges, and it's good to be able to have them.
Right, they do.
Be able to lean into, to speak to learn from, to glean from, because there's always a villain in the story, right? There's always something that we're overcoming. There's always something that we find ourselves challenged with, that we either need other people to help us out with, to guide us through, or just to encourage us. And it's always good to have those mentors. Car guys, car gals, listening, watching, hearing, reading, whichever. Have those mentors. Have those people that you can speak to. Those people that you can be really, really, really vulnerable with, and be able to say what you're thinking, what you're dreaming, what you're upset about. Just let your vents out, whatever the case is. But you run into these challenges, and it's something that you find yourself sometimes bruised up, sometimes a little bit of bleeding. Sometimes it's like, man, you know, sometimes even doubting yourself. But for you, getting to where it is that you are today, Melissa, what has been your hardest lesson that you've had to learn up until now?
Ooh. Hardest lesson. If you break it, you have to fix it.
Ooh, I like that. That is good.
Whether
Open up on that.
Put it up there. Yeah, I love that. Sip on that, my friends.
Just sit on that one for a second. Whether it's, you know, you go awry with something in your personal life, get right, find that path to do better, or you fumble at work, something messes up. Okay, let's find the path to move forward. Let's find the way to make it better. You have a scuffle with a friend. You need to move forward. There is only forward. It happened. Something wasn't right. Something was wrong. You did something bad. Someone did something bad to you. You messed up. You weren't in a good place. How do you make it better? You can't sit and wallow in it. You can for a minute if you need to, if that's what you need, but then you need to get up and you need to go to do the work. You need to get better.
Wow.
And then you learn from it and you move forward.
Oh, that's so powerful. Look, we got Lou's trying to pull
Like, oh my gosh.
All right, Lou, stop it.
Michael says, my favorite saying is, sometimes things have to break before you can fix them. That's so true. That's so good stuff. Thank you, Michael.
We're all better after we fix whatever was broken or whatever wasn't right.
That's it.
It's so true.
That's it.
It's not the end of the world. It's not the bad thing. The world's not over. You grow from it.
Amen to that. Yes, yes, and yes. I love exactly what you're saying right there. Seriously, like, folks, understand that only time there's a failure is if you quit. Literally, that's it. It's not a failure if you keep moving. I mean, because do we think of people like Ben Franklin? Is he a failure? Because that dude failed a lot before he was able to figure out a lot of things that he did. If we go back and look at Alexander Graham Bell, was he a failure? But if you go back and read, he had a ton of mishaps on his way there. Nikola Tesla, I can keep going and going and going, right? And about all these people in the past who, if you looked at everything up to the time that they actually created what they did, they would look like the biggest failures on the planet. but they didn't look at it that way. And if they did, we wouldn't have the things that we have as luxuries today. It may have taken more time. Maybe it would have eventually happened, yes, but would it have happened the way it did? No. And when it did, no. So things happen for a reason. You have to be strong enough to know that it's okay to break something as long as you go back and fix it and learn something and get better, right? And next time you won't break it. Maybe if you do, it's a little chip this time instead of a big break. So know that it gets easier. It gets more advantageous of you to be able to grow if you just start doing those things. I love this talk. This is great stuff.
I mean,
great answer.
When you break muscles down, that's how you build them, right? If you tear them up, that's how you build. When you are planting a garden, you have to break up the ground. When you're trying to establish a plot for a house to be built, you have to break up the ground. You have to tear things up in order to start building. There's always a little bit of demolition before there's actual construction. And it's awesome that you're pointing that out. But the fact is, especially you car guys and car gals out there, if you broke it, you better fix it. That's personal responsibility. And if there's something that has found its way to your doorstep broken and in pieces, well, maybe you're the solutionary designed to put it all back together, to bring the fix and find out how things can go forward after the break. But I love what you're pointing out, Melissa. This is good stuff.
If you break, you buy.
Yeah.
You break, you buy. All right. So I love it. That was a great.
The glass ornament my children knocked off a stand and broke.
Don't you hate
the
when
other
that
day?
You know, those are memories.
Like,
memories. You know, Lou and I
we just bought a broken piece of bacon ornament.
Hey, you know, I like a broken piece of bacon. That sounds good right now. We have these mugs that we made a long time ago, and I still keep them, but they're broken, right? They're chipped, like the handle broke off. These are the very first ones we ever made, right? So I can't get rid of them. Like I'm like, I wish they had.
My coffee mug's a little bigger.
Yes, it is. That's what I'm talking about. But you know what? That's why you're doing what you do. You're caffeinating the culture around you. You're caffeinating yourself. And caffeination isn't just the thing that we drink. It's an energy. You know, we believe Car Guy Coffee is an energy. Oh, that is an amazing.
Some love.
Wow. Shout out to Erica. And so right. You know, and this is what I'm talking about. Share this out, Erica. Let other ladies know in this industry, hey, or ladies that should be in this industry should see this. Right.
There's not a lot of us, but there's definitely more than there was when I first started.
Amen to that. And you know what? We're way better because of it. So I'm so excited about that. The future is just brighter the more that we have diversity and inclusion, you know, and not just in the sales force, but in the leadership force. Right. I love we're seeing more of that happening too, which is a beautiful thing, you know, and man, you know, there's so many great rewards that come along with growth. There's so many great rewards that come along with what we do, you know, every single day. You know, I know as a mother, as a wife, as a sister, as a daughter, as all those things, right? You know, there's so many rewards that we get every single day. You know, we sometimes just have to sit back and remind ourselves of it, right? Like, you know, the whole fact that we have children and that, you know, a lot of people don't. You know, there's so many things that we can go into, right?
Oh yeah, and I have two daughters. They are 2 and 3, and they are feisty sometimes. And I'm so grateful for them, but I'm also so grateful that they are currently at daycare.
Amen. Right. But I think everybody goes through that. And then when
anybody with small kids is like, yes.
Yeah, a little peace and quiet. Well, you know, especially if you've got a full-time career going on and you're in growth mode and you're looking for things, you know, but at the same time, yeah, the appreciation of that, it's the reward of having them every single night, knowing that, hey, these are my children, watching them grow to those levels, getting to the next, becoming a little bit more mature, but yet still having that feistiness that even though it's a little bit, we still love it, right?
Oh, it's so cute when they grab your little face and like, Mommy, I love you. And you're like, oh, this is so worth it. And then they accidentally like elbow you in the kidney or they're crying because they haven't had a 5th popsicle. It's balance.
It is balance, you know. You know, we talk about balance, we talk about life balance, but it's a beautiful thing, you know. And I love that, you know. I love making light of this type of stuff because we should all have fun, enjoying our lives, making fun of ourselves a little bit, you know, in our families and things like that. Because if you take yourself too seriously, my friends, and you're not having fun, you're really going to, at the end of the day, be stressed out all the time, trying to make things too perfect when perfection is something that is impossible for us, you know? And
That's
and
not
that's
saying.
why, somebody, I'm a religious person. I believe somebody gave his life so that we don't have to have that pressure on ourselves. Right. So I think that's a beautiful thing. So that being said, rewards, greatest rewards. That's the next question I'm going to ask you. Up to your point, this point, I know you got a lot of stuff still left to do. Right. But up to this point, we've talked about your why. We've talked about we skipped the second question because we pretty much got that all answered there. We wanted to get a little bit deeper. No, and we didn't skip. We added a new one. What I love is, what do you enjoy most about working in automotive? And you nailed it. You talked about some really amazing things there. We talked about your mentors, which I love, got you emotional, right? But at the same time, like I said at the end of it, it's one of the greatest ones I've ever heard on the show. And we've done hundreds of these. I love what you said there. We talked about hardest lesson. Now it's time for that great reward. What is that great reward that you've seen up to this point in your career, in your life? It doesn't matter where it comes from. What has been the greatest reward in your heart that makes you just so not proud and just excited about?
Seeing things that I've started continue, if that makes any sense.
That's legacy.
This was a couple years ago. Was it a couple years ago? I think it was right whenever I started working for Shift Digital, maybe.
Okay.
Our team was in California. We were meeting with Mazda. We were talking with like their field reps and some of their higher ups, and everybody like gave their story, their background a little bit. Mentioned I was a dealer kid from Louisiana, whatnot. And then a gentleman came up and he was like, "Oh, are you familiar with this store?" And I was like, "Yeah, a little bit. Why?" And he was like, "Oh, because they have all of these things that they've started with grassroots marketing and pet adoptions. It's a Subaru store." And I was like, "Yeah, that's my family store. Those are the things that I started when we launched that dealership." And it had been probably 6 or 7 years at this point. And seeing those things that had been successful that we started and have taken root and are still to this day still things that they're doing, and they've grown. I'm like, "Oh, I started that." Like I felt proud of myself in that.
Yeah.
That other people were recognizing it, not realizing that was something that I had done. And it was just a small store at the time, and it's quite literally doubled in size in the last couple of years. They expanded the store. Like that was a proud moment for me. Buying my home with my children and doing all the little things to it, and then my family coming in like, "Oh, this is so nice," and I'm this is great, and hearing that, "Oh, I'm proud of you because I did it." I don't work for my dad, but I did get everything from him, and I know I have that safety net, which is great. But I still want to push myself. I still want to do things. I still want to make my own name. And when that is recognized a little bit, not just from him, but other people saying, "Oh, I met your daughter. She was smart. She saw this problem." Or even when I have conversations with my brothers who aren't the most digitally savvy, and that's just not who they are. And they're like, "Oh, this isn't working," or, "Here's an issue that I have with XYZ." And then we can actually talk about a solution. And they're like, "Oh yeah, okay, well, let's do that." Like they get it. I'm not their sister at that point. I'm actually someone with knowledge in the industry.
Yeah.
So it just makes me feel good.
Heck yeah. And it's because I think that a lot of people would look at what we call Papa had a dealership type person and be like,
PhDs,
right?
There's PhDs, there's DKs.
Right. There is, right?
Parents at a dealership, right?
Parents at a dealership, right? We've seen those, that same thing. We'll call it parents at a dealership. I do think that's a better term, right? So that being said, I love that you took that and used it as fuel, but in a good way, right? You didn't sit there and go, no, I'm not. No, you're doing it because you're like, I'm going to honor my father instead. Instead of being like, I'm going to do everything against what he tells me, I'm going to honor him by being who I am, by being much like him, putting the work ethic that he put in, by being like my mother and being as much of close to a Disney princess as I can be to share.
I actually have to bring my mom into this too, because we watched my dad work his butt off.
Yeah.
His entire life.
Guarantee it.
And I will share a quick funny story about that one. But then I had my mother in the background. She was a nurse for 20 years. So she was always in my ear. be independent, have your own money, have your own life, to have your own thing, be able to be on your own, be able to work on your own, have your own thing. Like she was always pushing me too.
Right.
It's like dad was the one working and you can see it. And you see those actions. And then I had Sandy in the background, my Disney princess, being like, you can be an independent person. You can stand on your own two legs. And I'm like, yes, mom.
Come on. Heck yeah. Heck
It's
yeah.
great. But the funny story about my mom and dad when they met, they're both from very, very large families. Mom's one of 6, dad's one of 5.
Wow.
And
Whoa.
yeah,
Awesome.
we love the family gatherings. The more
That's
chaos,
fun.
the
Yeah, this
better.
is a fun season for y'all right now.
It is.
Facing this.
It's awesome.
Heck yeah.
So whenever my mom and dad got engaged, my mom's dad was a colonel in the Air Force, and 2 of her older sisters had married a veterinarian and a dentist. And my Papa Ed, he said, you know, Sandy, I was hoping we have 2 doctors. I was kind of hoping for a lawyer, but I guess everybody needs cars too.
Heck yeah.
Because at the time my dad was a used car salesman. He hadn't, worked his way up to dealer status yet. But I think that gave my dad a little bit more fire than he even had
Check,
to
yeah.
kind of prove the colonel that he was worthy.
Heck yeah.
That's guarantee. If you ask your dad similar questions about his growth, and he would bring that up too, talk about having that there and using that as fuel too, to be able to be like, hey, I want to, be legacy myself. Right. And it's something special about that, because it is. Hoorah, Air Force. I'm an Air Force vet, but a colonel in the Air Force, pretty big deal. It's not easy to get to, and that's a lot of work, and that's a huge honor to have. And that's a beautiful thing. What a great story.
Pop Ed was a very smart man. I forget exactly what his PhD was in, but he tried very hard to get his daughters to be able to like be good in math and like go some sort of STEM path, and all of them are just like, that's not going to work for us.
That's something that we do love about the industry, about our profession, is because we are professionals, and what we do want it for our kids and for those that we raise up or we mentor or grow, is that they find themselves as professionals, right? Whether it's military and you find yourself operating as a professional, or you jump into a law firm, or you jump inside of banking, you want to operate as a professional. And that's the great thing about this industry, that is such a blessing, that we want to continue to swing wide open the doors for everybody to say, listen, this is a great profession for you to grow in, for you to go to different heights of communicating with people. Because the colonel, he needs a ride. The lawyer, they need a ride. The doctor, they need a car, right? We are facilitating the transportation needs of Earth. And every single professional finds themselves sitting on the other side of a sales professional that's helping them be able to drive and move life around. And it's such a great, honorable profession, especially because the way in isn't so gated, right? You don't have years upon years upon years of education you have to go through, rigorous military training to go through, right? Unless you're being trained like a solutionary to solve transportation problems on a regular basis, right? We are about making sure that there is the right training in all elements. But what we love about this industry is that there is such a need for more people that see themselves as professionals and as legacy business builders. And what it is that you're saying right now, young women need to hear, young men need to hear, especially when it comes to the side of releasing any of the thoughts of automatic success coming by way of nepotism, because your ability to establish your own name and your ability to be able to kind of carve your own sculpture, pave your own path is helping.
She left the warmth of Louisiana to go carve her own path.
And it's good.
10 years she's been away from there.
I boarded the plane in New Orleans, and it was 90 degrees in May of 2014. And I got off the plane at O'Hare, and it was 45. And I was like, what is this?
I can't even.
You gotta buy a jacket. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta buy a jacket.
I didn't pack winter clothes because it was spring.
Yeah,
and I didn't know spring was cold.
Wow.
Chicago it is. You can. It can have those days. You know the deal. It could snow that day. And you never know, right? And that's
I know now.
Heck yeah. What's up, Tony? Yes, sir. You are a pro. Welcome to the party.
What's up, Tony?
Excited
What's up, brother?
but no, there is so much that is. We got the balloons that showed up. But there's so much that's great for automotive to be able to help people find themselves and to be able to build something real that's lasting. Your leadership beforehand has kind of paved the way and parted a few things for you to be able to go do what it is that you do. But ultimately, it's you that's hard charging. It's you that's pushing it forward. And it's you that's making the connections, just like what we're doing right now. This is your first podcast, and by no means do we believe that this is going to be your last. Shout out to the chicks in charge. Y'all need to get Melissa on your show.
You know it.
Need to make that happen. And all of you, if you're hearing this show, you have a podcast, you have somebody that you're trying to get on the show, give Melissa a call. You understand that she is an incredible professional that brings a lot to the table. But right here, Car Guy Coffee Podcast, we are honored to be able to brew solutions with you and be able to pour out some of what it is that you've been pouring out to the industry that maybe not everybody is known about, but we're going to do our best to be able to show shining examples off just like you. Thank you so much for your time, Melissa.
Thank you.
Do you have anything that you want to be able to say to the public to let everybody know, or just let people know how to get a hold of you if they want to brew solutions with you?
Well, y'all can, I think all my contact info is on the Pure Cars website, or you can just email. I believe it's hello@purecars.com. If there are any questions, our team is great at passing along info. Yes, that is how that happens with the balloons.
What's up, Steven? Welcome to the party. You here?
Oh.
But yeah, I truly believe that Pure Cars and AutoMiner are paving the way for so many things in automotive digital, and we're learning things as we go, we're breaking things as we go, we're fixing them as we go, and it's a good place to be. Like I feel like I'm in a good place. I'm a little uncomfortable most of the time, which means I'm being pushed to grow.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that there's so much opportunity. There's so many different things that we can do, and so many different ways that we can not just help our dealers, but help grow the industry and help change that image of a car dealer. Yes. And create a better experience for our clients, for our customers. That I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah. Yep.
And you're a big part of it, and we're honored to have you here. Man, exciting show. I can't believe we've already almost knocked out an hour. Wow, this has been a pretty steady conversation, but we appreciate it.
It didn't feel like this was the first time you were on a show. You did this very well. Yeah. Very smooth, very confident. We love your story. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for your time today, because it is, I know time is important. It's the one thing that we never make back, right? And so giving us some of your time, I know how valuable that time is. So thank you. We honor that. We appreciate that. And you have a wonderful day. Folks, we know what we need to do before we get out of here. We got to forgive Focus Fly one more time, Lou. We got to make it happen. We got to do this. So you ready? Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
3. Car guys and car gals, let's rock this out. Great show. We appreciate that, Matt Damos. Great mentor for us. Yeah. On 3, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Forgive.
Focus.
Fly. And keep growing.
Car guys and car gals, thank you so much for tuning in with us today. We are honored that you shared some time with us. Share this around. If you're watching this on the replay, throw some comments out there. Let them know. Let us know. Let Melissa know. Let the industry know that you had a great time brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. We are ready to make some things happen. Enjoy this Friday. Enjoy Thanksgiving next week, everybody.
Yes. And I've got so much cooking to do.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you got a beautiful home to do it in. So enjoy yourself. Have fun with the family. Thank you once again. And if there's anything you ever need, Melissa, you know how to get a hold of us. We appreciate you. I'm sure we'll see you around the block. We'll see you at all the events, and definitely be seeing you in some of the Zoom meetings. So can't wait.
Yes, sir. See y'all soon. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Well, thank you for being on here. Car guys and car gals, I'm Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And I'm Fred Lenart, subprime hero.
And you have been brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast with the one, the only Melissa Seichter. We will talk to you.
Let's go.
Fluent Solutions. We're out. Peace.